Let's be real. You are human. You are going to fall off track sometimes. Whether it's your morning routine, your workouts, your journaling, or your mindset work, you are going to have those days or weeks where it all slips. And don't even talk to me about diet. But here is the key. It's not about slipping. It's about how you come back. So today, let's talk about how to return to your habits with compassion, with kindness, and actually be successful. We're not using guilt or punishment anymore, beautiful. Because lasting change, it doesn't come from shame. It comes from alignment. Here's how. I'm going to get straight into this, beautiful. Let's just ditch the start over energy. This was for me one of the perpetual mistakes that I would make every single time I wanted to start over, restart, recalibrate, recenter after I had maybe let my goals slip. Okay, and I have had, it's funny, like when I think back about the specific goals that I've had throughout my lifetime, it's literally always the same. They are always the same. But the mindset that I had, the mindset that I kind of have evolved with to be successful was that all or nothing mentality. And so many of us feel like that. So it's not something to be ashamed of. But it's like when you've missed a few days, your brain just wants to say, I've ruined it. It's done. I'm never going to be successful in that area. Was it that bad anyway? Is that just me? Is that just who I am? Am I not meant to have this? But you haven't ruined anything. You're not starting over. You're just continuing. I want you to understand that. Now put your hands on your heart if it's safe to do so. And let's breathe together. If you're watching this, it's because you feel like you need to start over. You feel like you're making mistakes. You feel like you don't have the discipline. You don't have what it takes to be successful in this area. You feel like you're a failure. You feel like you're not good enough. You look at maybe other people around about you, or you look at people that you aspire in the media and you think, you know what? They were just born like that. That's who they're meant to be. They have something that I don't have, something that I'm missing. And that's not true. I want you to understand, and we'll get into this more, but it's not about you, and it never was about you. It's about realigning. It's about feeling safe again. And that's what it all comes down to. Your subconscious mind, and I'm going a bit off track here, your subconscious mind is effectively trying to help you to stay safe. So what we need to do is we need to ditch the start over energy, and we actually need to get back to safety. Have you ever noticed that when you go off track, it starts, like you've also at the same time got this feeling of anxiety, this stress, this tension, this overwhelm in your body? Let me know in the comments if you feel that, or if you're just noticing that, because I promise you that you're not having to start over when you feel safe. You're having to start over when you're going through stressful times in your life, usually. So what you're going to do, you're going to say to yourself, I'm just realigning. It's part of my journey. And I want you to know that you're perfect for doing this. This is the process of learning, of embedding new skills, of actually moving and remembering who you are, untraining yourself from all of these programs that were piled on top of you that you didn't want or need. You're just going back to your source energy. Okay? And when you say, I'm just realigning, that's when your entire energy changes. Okay, so that's the key. And understand that this is a safe place to be. Do you think, I have a child who is learning to walk right now. He's not going to just randomly spring up one day and start running like marathons. you see him. Like, it's the sweetest, most gorgeous thing in the world, but it all started with standing up all by himself. It all started with cruising on the sofa, moving round and round. Then he got faster and faster. Then I was holding 2 hands and he didn't want to do it. Then we got confident. Then I'm holding 1 hand. Then I'm just holding his torso to support him, and he's so happy and excited that he's getting to actually take a few steps by himself, and he knows exactly what's happening. But he didn't just get up and start walking. He needed to do it again and again and again, and it was never about starting over every day we start again. It's just about continuing the process. So I want you to feel that. It's not about starting again. You haven't failed. You're doing amazing. It just so happened that you had a little blip. But your higher self loves what you're striving to do. Your higher self knows that's actually easy for you. And it will do whatever it can to help you. So let's move on, okay? What I want you to do is reconnect with your why. We talked about this a few videos back. Don't just go back to habits just because you've always done that or because you should, according to maybe some other people. That's punishment energy. And let me tell you, I really know how that feels. To punish yourself constantly. Rather than do things from a place of love. When you punish yourself, and you say, I need to do this. This is what people who have achieved this do. Even when it doesn't feel right for you, even when it feels like it's tiring, it's exhausting, you're pushing yourself too much. If you've got that, I'm having to push myself energy, you're going about it in the wrong way. Instead of punishing yourself, now you might have been punished all of your life. And actually, you might be punishing yourself now and still doing it when there's absolutely no reason or no need. Let me know if you feel that one in the comments. If you were raised by people who were punished their whole lives when they didn't do things well, they weren't fast enough, strong enough, tough enough, if they weren't, well, according to whoever raised them, we live in a society where different groups, different people have had completely different expectations. Some people were allowed to sit and laze all day on the sofa, do nothing with their lives, not connect to their higher purpose, not reach their potential, but others were really pushed. And if you were raised in that environment where it's actually very lazy to stop and rest and listen to your body, where you need to be on top form at all times, then you're going to be constantly punishing yourself in life, I guarantee it. No matter what you do, it's never going to be good enough for you. And everybody around you probably thinks it's amazing. But you're just judging yourself, you're looking, you're comparing, you're thinking it could have been better. Everything could always be better. It's just the nature of life. Nothing ever stops. Progress is always on a scale up. It never stops. It's just impossible. We can refine, but there comes a point where it takes away from our happiness. So instead of that punishment energy where you're saying, oh, you're just so lazy, or oh, you're just so hopeless, or you're not good enough, instead I want you to ask yourself, why did this actually matter to me in the first place? Why did I want this? Let's go back to that point about the health and wellness. About let's just go for the easy option for the diet, okay? Because we're all women, we all know the pressure. Maybe you've had a few days, you've let it slip a bit, you've maybe had a few desserts, you've got into the habit of snacking again. Maybe you've had some drinks at the weekend. Maybe you have not been to the gym, you've not been doing your workouts. Maybe you've slept in a few days. Maybe you've just been exhausted. And if that's you, I want you to know that I feel you. We do all of these things not because we are looking to overindulge. You see, all these things are actually self-soothing mechanisms that are socially acceptable. And that's the way it is. So all of these things are just socially acceptable ways for us to feel better about ourselves. But when we actually learn to come back to our why, the reason that's driving us forward, and we actually come back to that and we say, this is why I want to do it. This is why. And it always comes back to your higher self. It will always come down to closing your eyes, putting your hand on your heart, visualizing your higher self. Who is she? How does she feel? How does she live her life? And it's always going to come back to that ease that you feel as her. That's what you're striving for if you haven't noticed. It's not about the material possessions. It's not about all of the stuff, but it's actually about the ease that you understand within you that you're going to feel when you achieve coming back to her, the her that you were born to be before all of that conditioning was piled on top of you by society. So understand that your higher self is guiding you there, and that's why you have that goal, is because it knows that life is better for you there. But it's a process of finding yourself. If we were given everything on a plate that we were meant to be and we were born to be, life would not be fun. It's about getting there. It's about the things you learn, the mindset shifts. That's what the achievement and the happiness and the joy actually comes from in life. So please don't get it confused that when you get there, you're going to be happy. I can tell you that when you get there, you're going to feel empty if you don't enjoy the process. Because when you get there and you've achieved it, I can tell you, I've done this a million times, you will feel empty eventually. Nothing ever feels good for that long on its own. What actually feels good is the person you're becoming, the habits you're building. All of those things are meant to enrich your life. And when you finally get there, you'll feel good when everything else is just in balance. It's just about changing your lifestyle and changing your way of living and being happy about it. That's what it all comes down to. So really reconnect to who you are. Reconnect to your higher self. Reconnect to your why, and that is your why. I want to feel so at ease, so free in my higher self, and I want to get closer to that. The best version of me, the woman I was born to be, the woman I see in my mind. And reconnect to her, how she makes you feel. When you are her, you're energized, empowered, grounded. When your habits are an act of love, not control, you'll want to do it again and again and again. It's like me. I've explained this before in many videos. It's like my healthy eating. It's like at first, I didn't really want a salad every day. I didn't really want to be eating all that protein every day. I would rather have, sometimes I'll make lunch for my husband or my children or whatever, and it will look so good. That sandwich with the bread, with the sliced tomatoes, with the salad, all of that looks so good. With the meal, I'm like, that looks incredible. I would love that. But I can't get myself to go back to that way of eating when I know that I have a healthy salad that actually tastes so good, gives me energy, it fuels me, it fills me up. I'm not going to be hungry like I would with all those carbs, those empty type calories. I actually feel so much better, and I can't trade that. And even though that looks good, and even though I'm thinking I would love that, actually in reality, that's not the truth. So the final thing that I want to leave you with today is just to focus on one micro shift. And this is like I've talked about before. It's like that gateway drug, the positive gateway drug. Focus on that one tiny shift, that one tiny change that you can make today, that you know that if you do that, you want to do it tomorrow with a little bit of effort, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. For me, I've got so many, I have stacked so many positive, powerful habits in my life, but they all started just from one tiny shift. It's like Do you really think that I want to come down every single morning and drink hot water? Well, I'm sitting with hot water right now. I don't necessarily want to, but I understand that that's better for me than starting the day with some huge cereal with sugar all over it, or, granola, or those big frothy, like milky lattes. It's going to leave me feeling absolutely rubbish. Even the porridge with the berries and the peanut butter, all that stuff that I used to have, that does not make me feel good in the morning. What makes me feel good in the morning is the hot water. No caffeine. Just let my body wake up naturally. Give my body a chance in the morning to catch up with itself and not start having to digest right off the bat. I don't necessarily want to. There's other things that, I could go into my cupboard. There's 100 things in there that are not going to be good for me, that I could potentially be swayed into, but I'm not going to do it. I just don't every morning. It's the same with the salad as well. It's the same with breakfast. I could have some breakfast. I could do this very early. I could do all these things. But I know that my body works better when I break my fast at around about 11:30. When I eat that healthy salad. When I have my soup, my homemade soup. When I have lots of water before that. When I have maybe just a coffee before that. I feel so much better in myself when I do that, and that's what I do. And quite often I'm tempted, maybe today you could just have the porridge. Maybe today you could have this. But I know that that's not going to benefit me. That's just the little voice in my head talking, telling me to do something that it thinks I'm going to like because it's full of sugar. But really, I know better than that. So with kindness, I just say, we want to feel so good. We want to feel our best. We know our body feels our best when we just wait until we break our fast. And that's what we do. So don't try to do it all at once. Just choose one gentle step today. Drink the water. Do the 5-minute journaling. Just take the walk. And actually it could be when your child is down for a nap, when the kids are at school, when everything, you've done all your work in the morning, you're sitting down for your break. And you're not going to feel one bit guilty about it. And excuse me, because I have a bit of hay fever or something at the moment. You're not going to feel guilty one bit because you are worth the rest. You're listening to your body. It doesn't matter if you've been trained that sitting down is lazy. It might just be that you're ready to be the one who changes that narrative going forward. Kindness isn't passive. It's powerful. It builds momentum in a way that perfectionism never could. So I want you to know that you didn't feel beautiful. You are recalibrating. And this is where the transformation really happens. So if you are struggling to stay consistent with your habits, if you really would love some personalized support to shift your energy and to step into the ultimate version of you and back into alignment, then you can grab the Spark activation in the description box. You'll find all about it, but basically it's like having your soul coached back into power, clarity and confidence without even having to show up for a coaching call. Okay, you're going to find all the details in the link underneath. But until then, I want you to if this impacted you. I want you to make sure you're subscribed for future episodes. I'm going to be dropping so much gold for you. And I want you to comment about the one thing that you are going to do to be kind to yourself, to get back on track. What's the one mindset shift that you're making to actually make the changes, to actually be your higher self with love, with kindness, with ease, versus forcing, pushing and punishing? Let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you in Spark activation, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Have an amazing day.